guys, so we got match number 2 of the best of 3 with Sokka versus Enel. One of the matchups that I don't think we've seen so far too much in OP06 with, Katakuri really taking precedence over Enel in terms of yellow. But I've always loved playing yellow. I've always loved playing Enel, and I think it fits my play style just a bit more. So we got match number 2. Hopefully we don't have as a couple of those misplays that we had in the first game, and I'm hoping that he doesn't see as many combos pieces that he got in the first game. He pretty much cleaned up everything he needed to. So in this game, I'll be going second, kind of like that curve a bit better, throw Sakazuki, on that bit of an odd curve, so they can't do quite as many plays. But, we got 2-Don. The only 2-Don play in this deck is Hiyori. If you don't see Hiyori, you don't got a 2-Don play. So, and he's tapping 5 here. We're fine with taking this life. And first life, we got a Satori. Absolutely great, because it's a 5 cost. Pretty hard for him to remove. Takes a lot more effort to remove than, simply a 4 cost. So we know for a fact this thing will most likely stick around on this turn, and we can just use it to be aggressive going forward. And so he'll play down Tashigi, start getting that filter going, start getting that draw going, finding the pieces he needs. We see the Ice Age, which we're not too big a fan of, because that really negates some of our big bodies sticking around later on. Plays the brand new as well, gets a Suru. So he's already got 2 bodies he can poke with on board. He got 2 pieces in hand, so he's looking pretty good. And we're jumping into our 4-Don turn. 4-Don turns with Enel, I usually find pretty similar. Just poke 5 with lead, and then maybe play a body. I opt to not swing with Satori here, because it requires a lot of effort from his side to clear 2 standing bodies. He could clear the Okiku and then just Hound Blaze, 8k swing to the Satori. I'm not trying to give up resources this early, so I just leave both of them standing. If he clears both of these 2, he's using up a lot of resources out of his hand, and he already countered out the first swing, so we're fine with sort of playing it slow. We got some top end in our hand, so we're definitely cool with playing it slow. He's going 1 with the Suru here onto the Okiku, so it's pretty clear he's trying to clear both. And we get the Ice Age that he got out of hand, so that's both cards that he already searched last turn out of hand. 1 more for the Murakumo, so both my bodies are gone, but he just used up 3 cards to clear 2 bodies in the early stage and swinging 6. We're fine with taking this 6 again, just getting cards to hand. We're not at any threat of being lethaled, so we're fine with just eating that life. And on our 6-Don turn here, these turns are always straightforward as well. Poke 6 and then play any sort of 5 cost body. This is pre start deck 13, so the pretty obvious go-to play here would be Gadatsu, and so we'll just Gadatsu the brand new, since it's the most likely threat out of the 3 options, and we don't really want to give him the Suru to start looping back in trash if we can help it. So he's coming up on his 7-Don turn here. We see the Great Eruption. We can assume, he'll get rid of the Gadatsu somehow. Just attack with lead -1. It's already at a 2 cost. So we don't really have any bodies sticking on board, but, he's using up a lot of resources. He hasn't really built anything too scary on his board yet. We're down in the life count, but, like I said, we're fine with eating life with this leader against Sakazuki, just because it takes a lot of effort for them to put it to lethal. Because we know next turn, he can't even lethal us next turn. Like, he can do 1 swing with lead, he can do a swing with Lucci, he can do a swing with Tashigi, but that requires a lot of investment on his part, and we're not in danger of dying. So we have a couple options on our 8-Don turn. I love playing Enel aggressively, so I just go 6 here with lead, and he has to take. He's low in cards in hand, so he has to take. We go 7 with lead to lead with a Enel character, and he's either gonna have to give us 2 cards or go down to 1 life. And Sakazuki going down to 1 life this early is not something they feel comfortable doing. So we get 2 cards out of hand. We're in a good spot. We have an Enel character on the board, definitely a sticky card. And, we're at 1 life. We know we can't die this turn, so I'm feeling like we're in a pretty good spot. He ditches the Kuzan. It's a little late for the Kuzan. He needs to get that down earlier if he does have it earlier. Otherwise, the only other time you really want to play it off of is Moria, just from the skill. Otherwise, it's too late to play it out. So he's trying to figure out, can I get rid of this Enel? Should I just, try to pressure for life here? Like, what should I do? Which, from his perspective, he's just going to try to get some resources out of my hand, which is fine, but we amass some cards in hand at this point because we've been eating life the whole game. He'll go 9 here with lead onto the Enel, so he's trying to either bait me just letting it die in case he has a follow-up way to remove it. And I'm trying to debate that, okay, well, if I use skill here and he outs it anyways with a skill, am I fine with that? And I pretty much included like, yeah, I'm fine with that. So I'll use the skill, I'll keep it alive, I'll force him to have the cards in order to remove this character, because this character being on board throws a lot of his game plan out the window. You know, if he can't remove this, he's in a pretty bad spot, just because it adds so much aggression. And you know, just the longer this thing sticks on board, the more unlikely it is to be removed. So it's a card that we're definitely, you know, we want on board. And so we're testing to see if he has the removal, and he doesn't. He plays a 4-drop Kuzan, which I can understand. I think he's low in cards in hand, so he probably doesn't have too many other plays that he can do. So we're coming into 10 Dawn. He's got 2 life, maybe I think 2 or 3 cards in hand. We got maybe 5 or 6 cards in hand, but you know, 10 Dawn turn's pretty obvious. We're at 1 life, so we'll go 6 to the Lucci here. So he'll give us a 1k counter. You could argue like maybe we go 8 to Lucci with, you know, the Enel character, try to clear that off board, and then 5 to life. I opt to go 6 to Lucci and then 7 to life, just because I don't really care too much if the Lucci sticks on board, but we definitely want to get him down to 1 life minimum going into this next turn. And if he guards the Lucci, then I know he has to take the life hit. There's no way he can do both in the same turn without completely depleting his hand. And if he does deplete his hand, that's fine with us too. So then, you know, we go Yamato, we KO the Tashigi, get the life back, and we can't die this turn. You know, it's going to take four hits to kill us this turn. We have enough counter and cards in hand to make sure that can't happen. And he's got a couple bodies on board, but we're not threatened at all. He's at 1 life, so he's in reject range. This is exactly the spot we want him to be at. We have 2 bodies on board that are relatively difficult to remove. He doesn't have great defense, doesn't have a lot of cards in hand, so we're feeling all right. And you know, he's still digging, trying to find pieces with brand new and whatnot. Grabs a 2k. Sure, we're not too scared about that at this point. And he's really trying to figure out like, okay, where can we go with this? What is possible here? And if he's going to remove one of my 2 characters, it would make the most sense to be the Yamato, just because we can't save it, you know, with a refresh skill or anything like that. So it would make sense to me to try to remove the Yamato, if he can even remove the Yamato. He used 2 Dawn already, so his only option is either, you know, a Rebecca Hina type combo, or, you know, a Gecko Lucci type combo. But I don't think you can get either of the 2 characters I have on board down enough with like a Gecko Lucci Helmeppo combo. So he opts to go the Sabo route, tries to block her up a little bit here, play slightly defensive. I think both of these hits are going to end up going into my Enel character, because he's just trying to drain resources, and that's fine with me. I'll just give him the 2Ks from hand because I don't have anything else. We'll give him the 2Ks from hand because I know if I have this character on board, you know, my ability to close out the game is just that much higher. I don't really care too much about my cards in hand at this point, just because we're pretty far ahead, just with the you know, the sheer power of the characters we have on board. So we'll check 7 here, see what he gives us. If he blocks, that's fine. If he takes, also fine. If he gives us from hand, that's fine. Then we just kind of dictate what we want to do from that point. Since we do have other top end, you know, we can extend another turn. He'll give us 2 cards from hand. We know he's only got two left in hand, so whether or not we close game here doesn't really matter. Next turn he can't kill us anyways. You know, we got 3 life effectively, couple cards in hand. He'll need everything on board to hit through in order to do that. So we'll check 7 here. He takes. We'll check 9 here, force the block with the Sabo, and you know, from here we just rush Enel because we got another one in hand. Check 8. He's only got 3 cards in hand. He doesn't have it. So that to me is kind of like the ideal Enel game. You know, if we can get 2 bodies out early, force him to use combo power, you know, from his hand, his resources go down drastically. And from that point, we just sort of use Rush Enel's stickiness, you know, some offensive pressure, just one sort of other big body. And, you know, we're in a pretty good spot. You know, I think Enel's matchup into Saka still is pretty okay, at least if you pilot it correctly. You know, like I said, you're fine with taking those life and just, you know, using the defensiveness of the leader skill as its own thing. And, you know, at this point, we're just kind of debriefing, just like, yeah, you know, pretty much, you know, everything I needed. You had to extend a lot of stuff early game, which I'm fine with. You know, none of those bodies were truly scary for me to lose or anything like that. But yeah, so, you know, we're going on to game 3 next. Definitely stay tuned for that, see who grabs it for the best of 3 series. And, you know, definitely let me know what other kind of matchups you guys might want to see in the future or anything like that. And we'll definitely try to make it happen. So appreciate you guys checking out the video. Definitely hit the like button, hit the sub button, and, you know, have a great rest of the day.